This morning on Wnet Radio, Deputy Minister of National Defense Wojciech Skurkiewicz announced that some of the contracts for military equipment concluded by the Polish government will be implemented in the near future. Already in October, the Bayraktar unmanned systems, which work so well in Ukraine, will be added to the equipment of the Polish army. In the fourth quarter of this year, the Polish army will be equipped with Patriot missile battery sets. However, this is not the only equipment that will supply the Polish army. By the end of the year, the first K2 tanks and K9 cannon howitzers are to be delivered to our army on the basis of recently signed agreements with the Republic of Korea. Indeed, it is to be applauded that this process of technical modernization of our armed forces has accelerated. Next year, the Polish army will become equipped with 116 Abrams tanks, purchased from the United States. We are strengthening the Polish army at a pace at which it was not strengthened for at least several dozen years. The war on our eastern border is not the only reason for modernizing the army. Some contracts were signed before the conflict escalated. Please remember that in addition to what we order today, we have carried out a number of orders that are already being processed. 2 days ago, Vladimir Putin threatened to use nuclear weapons. President Andrzej Duda, who recently took part in the sessions of the UN General Assembly in New York, referred to the Kremlin's threats. The United States also has buttons that launch nuclear missiles. The United States is a nuclear power, the world's largest military power. The fact that the U.S. takes this threat seriously is also a threat to Russia. The nuclear threat is also aggravated by the shelling of the power plants in Zaporizhia by the Russian army. The Ministry of the Interior and Administration announced that in units of the State Fire Service in each region, there are tablets with potassium iodide, which among others protect against cancer in case of exposure to radiation. If we make preparations, it is better that they lie in the drawer unused, but generally they should be there, because if a crisis comes, we will be ready for it. The modernization of the Polish army was also announced a few days ago by Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, who hosted the Niedźwiedź 2022 exercise. The head of government announced that next year the number of Polish armed forces would increase by 20,000 new recruits. Currently, the Polish army numbers 112,000 professional soldiers and about 30,000 territorial defense forces. If it were actually possible to implement the plan that 20,000 people would put on a uniform next year, it would be a big increase. Next year, the government plans to allocate 98 billion zloty to the modernization of the Polish army. This is almost a double increase compared to 2021.